Think for a moment about how you can tell when two people really like each other. How do you know when that spark is moving in both directions and not just flowing one way like a river that never gets anything back? Imagine a scene that is happening right now, maybe just down the street from where you are sitting or standing at this very moment. There are two people sitting across from one another at a small, cozy table in a quiet corner of a coffee shop or restaurant. Maybe they are on their very first date, feeling those early jitters that make your stomach flip and your hands a little shaky. Maybe they are coworkers who have grabbed a coffee after a long day of meetings and emails and stress. Or maybe they are two strangers who just happened to start talking at a busy party where the music was loud and the room was full of people. In this scene, one of these people is absolutely sure that the other person feels the exact same way they do. They are watching every little look and every small smile like it holds the secrets of the universe. They are listening to every laugh and making it mean something special in their mind. When they drive home later that night, they will play the whole night back in their head like a movie on repeat. They will call their friends or text them right away and say with excitement and hope, "I think they really like me. I think this might be something real." But the sad truth that nobody wants to face is that they are mistaken. The feelings they had were real to them, and they felt them deeply in their heart, but those feelings were only living in their own heart and nowhere else. The other person was just being nice and polite and had no idea any of this romantic story was happening in the other person's mind. Now, imagine a different scene with completely different energy. Same room, same soft lights hanging above, and the same dinner on the table between them. But this time, something is very different in the air. This time, both people leave the table at the end of the night and start replaying the evening in their minds with the same warm feeling. Both of them are noticing the same sweet moments that happened. Both of them are smiling to themselves as they remember a certain joke or a certain look. Both of them are already looking at their calendars to see when they can meet up again because they cannot wait that long to see each other. This is what we call mutual attraction, and it is one of the most beautiful feelings in the world. It does not feel like a one-way street where you are doing all the work. It acts differently. It makes your body feel a certain way that is hard to describe, and it changes how a conversation flows between two people. I want to share what experts and scientists have learned over many years of research about how to tell the difference between a one-sided crush and the real thing, where both people feel the same way. This will help you stop spending your precious energy and your valuable time on people who are not really there for you in the way you want them to be. And it will help you notice and appreciate the people who truly are feeling the same things you are feeling. Let's look at this together with open eyes and open hearts, so you never have to feel confused about it again, or waste months wondering if someone likes you back. First, we need to understand a big mistake that most of us make when we are trying to figure out if someone has feelings for us. When we want to know if someone likes us, we often look for one big, shiny sign that will tell us everything we need to know. We look for a really nice compliment that feels different from other compliments. We look for a hug that lasts a second longer than usual, or feels tighter than a normal friendly hug. We look for a text message that comes back really fast, as if they dropped everything they were doing just to respond to us. We take that one tiny thing and treat it like it is a mountain of proof that they must like us. We build entire castles of hope on these single moments, but real connection does not work that way at all. Think of it like a beautiful quilt that someone spent months making with care and attention. You cannot tell what the whole quilt looks like or what pattern it forms by looking at one tiny piece of thread pulled from the corner. You have to step back and look at the whole pattern and see how all the pieces fit together to create something bigger. Real attraction is a group of behaviors that keep happening over and over again in a consistent way. It happens in different places and at different times and in different situations for both people involved. A famous researcher named Arthur Aaron spent many years of his life looking into how people fall in love and what that process actually looks like. He found that the feeling of being drawn to someone is not just a lucky accident or random chance. It is something that happens in your brain and your body in very specific ways that can be measured and observed. When attraction is mutual, it is like a loop or a circle of energy. You are not just sending feelings out into the world and hoping they land somewhere. You are both caught in the same circle of energy that feeds itself and grows stronger. This loop is something you can actually see and feel if you know what to look for and if you pay attention to the right things. It might not be perfect every single time because humans are complicated and messy, but it is clear enough to help you stop guessing and start knowing what is really happening between you and another person. The first thing to look for is something called synchrony, which is a big word for a very simple and beautiful thing that happens between people who connect deeply. Synchrony means moving together like dancers who know the same choreography without ever practicing it. Most people never even notice this is happening, but it is very powerful and very telling. When two people really like each other, their bodies start to copy each other without them even trying or thinking about it. Science shows us through careful observation and measurement that when we feel a strong bond with another person, we start to match the person we are with in all kinds of subtle ways. If one person leans in closer to the table, the other person leans in too, without realizing they are doing it. If one person rests their chin on their hand while they listen, the other person might do the same thing a moment later, as if their body is following a script it never read. Even the way they talk starts to sound the same over time. They might both start talking a bit faster because they are excited and full of energy, or they might both slow down to a gentle, quiet pace because the moment feels intimate and special. They laugh at the same time, and their laughter has the same rhythm. They move their hands in the same way when they tell stories. They might even start using the same words or phrases without planning to. This is not something you can plan or fake if you try. If you try to copy someone on purpose to make them think you like them, it usually looks a bit silly or awkward, and people can sense that something is off. But when it is real and genuine, it is smooth and natural like water flowing down a stream. It is like your bodies are having their own conversation completely separate from the words you are saying. It is your body's way of saying without any words at all, I feel safe and happy right here with you. I want to be close to you and match your energy. The second sign to watch for is how you look at each other and what that eye contact feels like. Now, I do not mean staring in a way that feels uncomfortable or intense. Staring can feel a bit scary or aggressive, and it makes people want to look away. I am talking about a special kind of eye contact that stays just a little bit longer than it would with a regular friend or acquaintance. When two people like each other in a romantic way, they hold that gaze for a sweet, extra moment that feels charged with meaning. They might look away at the same time because it gets too intense, then look back and smile because they cannot help themselves. It is like a rhythm or a heartbeat that pulses between them. There is a scientific reason this feels so good and why it matters so much. When we look into the eyes of someone we connect with deeply, our brains release a special chemical called oxytocin that flows through our system. Some people call this the bonding chemical, or the hug hormone, because it is the same thing that gets released when mothers hold their babies, or when people hug someone they love. It makes us feel warm and close and safe. When the attraction goes both ways and is truly mutual, both people are getting a little dose of that happy chemical at the exact same time, which creates a feedback loop that makes both people want more of that feeling. This is very different from a one-way crush, where the feelings only go in one direction. In a one-way situation, the person who has the crush will keep looking and looking, searching the other person's face for any sign of interest or affection. But the other person will keep looking away and looking at other things in the room, or checking their phone, or watching other people. They are not in the same rhythm at all. There is a gap where the connection should be, an empty space that never gets filled. You can feel that gap deep in your gut, even if you do not have the words to describe exactly what feels wrong or off about the interaction. The third sign that attraction is mutual is being truly responsive to each other in a way that goes beyond just polite conversation. A group of experts who study relationships for a living say this is one of the best and most reliable ways to tell if a connection is real and goes both ways. A researcher named Harry Rice spent his entire life looking at what makes people feel close to each other and what builds intimacy between two people. He found that the most important thing in creating closeness is feeling like the other person truly sees you and hears you as a complete human being. This means they care about what you are saying and how you feel, not just as a polite gesture, but because they genuinely want to know. It is easy for someone to act like they are listening for a minute or two, just to be polite, or because they were taught good manners. But it is very hard to fake deep responsiveness for a long time without it becoming obvious that their heart is not in it. When attraction is mutual and real, the other person will remember things you said earlier in the conversation, or even in conversations from days or weeks ago. They will bring those things up later and ask questions about your story and keep the conversation going because they genuinely do not want it to end. It is like a game of catch where neither person wants to drop the ball or let the game stop. You both stay focused and excited and engaged. This is not just someone having good manners or being a polite conversationalist. This is two brains that are truly interested in one another and want to know everything about each other. They ask follow-up questions that show they were really listening. They remember small details that most people would forget. They want to know not just what happened, but how you felt about what happened. They make space for you to talk, and they do not interrupt or turn the conversation back to themselves. This kind of deep engagement is rare and precious, and it is one of the clearest signs that someone is genuinely attracted to you. The next sign might sound a little bit strange at first, and maybe even contradictory. It is a feeling I call nervous calm, which sounds like it does not make any sense, right? How can you be nervous and calm at the same time? Those seem like opposite things that should not exist together. But think about it carefully, and you will realize this is exactly what real mutual attraction feels like. When you are with someone you really like, and they like you back in the same way, you feel those little butterflies in your tummy that flutter around. You feel nervous because this person matters to you, and you care what they think. You do not want to say the wrong thing or do something embarrassing. But at the same time, underneath all those nerves, there is a deep feeling of peace and safety. Your body feels safe when you are near them, even though you are also excited. There is research from a school in Berkeley that explains this phenomenon in scientific terms. It shows that when two people really connect on a deep level, their bodies actually help each other calm down in measurable ways. Your breathing might slow down a little bit and become deeper and more regular. Your voice might get a bit deeper and softer and more relaxed. Your shoulders, which might have been tight and high from stress or anxiety, finally drop and relax into a natural position. This is very different from the jittery, anxious energy you feel when you like someone who does not like you back in the same way. In that case, you feel all the nerves and all the anxiety, but you never feel the peace or the safety underneath it. You feel like you are walking on eggshells because there is nothing solid to hold on to. You are constantly worried about saying or doing the wrong thing because the connection feels fragile and uncertain. Real mutual attraction feels completely different. It feels like a safe harbor in the middle of a storm. It tells your heart, this is important, pay attention and be present, but you are also safe here, and you can relax and be yourself. Now, there is one more thing we need to talk about, and it might be the most important part of all of this. We need to talk about what it looks like when the attraction is not mutual, when the feelings only go one way. One-sided feelings have a very specific look and pattern that you can learn to recognize. In these cases, the energy only goes one way, like a road that has no return lane. One person is always the one starting things and making things happen. They are the one starting the conversation every single time. They are the one making eye contact and trying to hold it. They are the one leaning in and moving closer. They are the one asking the next question to keep the conversation going. The other person might be very nice and polite and respond to what you say, but they never start anything themselves. They never initiate. They never reach out first. They never suggest getting together. This is a very big deal and a very important distinction to notice. Most people are taught from childhood to be polite and kind to others. So if you talk to them, they will talk back because that is what polite people do. If you tell a joke, they will laugh to be nice and not make you feel bad. But just because someone is responding to you does not mean they are feeling that deep spark of attraction or that they want something more with you. Real mutual attraction is like a campfire that stays lit on its own because both people keep putting logs on the fire to feed it. Both people are invested in keeping it going and making it grow. If you are the only one bringing the wood and tending the fire, you are just keeping yourself warm while the other person is just standing there enjoying the heat you are creating. You are not building a fire together as partners. You are doing all the work while they passively receive the benefits. So, how can you use all of this knowledge and insight in your own life to make better decisions about where to invest your time and your heart? The best thing you can do is stop looking at tiny, single moments as if they are proof of something bigger. Stop building entire relationship fantasies on one good conversation or one nice text message. Instead, start looking at the whole picture over time and across different situations. Do not worry too much about one long look or one quick text response. Instead, ask yourself if these things happen every time you are together, or if they were just a one-time thing. Is there a rhythm to how you look at each other that repeats itself? Are you both keeping the conversation alive and contributing equally, or are you doing all the heavy lifting while they just respond? Do they initiate contact sometimes, or is it always you reaching out first? And most importantly, listen very carefully to what your body is telling you, because your body is very smart, and it usually knows the truth before your brain catches up. That feeling of nervous calm I talked about earlier is a huge clue that should not be ignored. If you feel a quiet peace underneath the excitement when you are with someone, That is a very good sign that the attraction is mutual and real. But if you feel like you are working way too hard to make things happen, if you feel exhausted after spending time with them instead of energized, if you feel anxious without the calm underneath it, your body is trying to tell you something important. Your body is trying to tell you that the other person might not be in the same place you are emotionally. They might like you as a friend or enjoy your company, but they are not feeling that deeper romantic pull that you are feeling. Attraction is not some big, unsolvable mystery that nobody can understand. It is not magic or luck or random chance. It is something that happens in our brains and our bodies in very specific ways, and it leaves clues everywhere if we know how to read them. These clues, like moving together in synchrony, sharing meaningful looks, really listening and being responsive, and feeling that calm energy underneath the excitement, are right there in front of us every single day. We often miss them because we are waiting for a big dramatic moment, like the ones we see in movies and television shows. We wait for someone to stand in the rain and declare their love for us, or to chase us through an airport, or to show up at our door with flowers and a speech. But real life is not found in those big dramatic moments that almost never happen. Real life is found in the small things that happen over and over again, without us even thinking about it or trying to make them happen. That is where the truth lives, and where real connection is built. It lives in the way you both reach for your water glass at the same time without planning it. It lives in how you both do not want to say goodbye even though it is getting late and you both have to work tomorrow. It lives in the way they remember something small you mentioned 3 weeks ago and bring it up now because they were thinking about you. If you are thinking about someone special right now as you read these words, do not just ask yourself if you like them or how much you like them. That is only half of the equation. Ask yourself if the energy is moving in both directions like a circle, instead of just one direction like an arrow. Is it a mirror that reflects your own feelings back to you? Or is it a wall that absorbs everything you give without giving anything back? Is it a magnet that pulls you both closer together? Or are you the only one doing the pulling while they stay in place? When attraction is real and mutual, it will move forward all on its own without you having to force it or manufacture it. You will not have to push it or convince the other person to spend time with you. Things will flow naturally and easily, even when life gets complicated. Once you know what these patterns look like, and once you train yourself to see them clearly, you will be able to see the truth about any relationship or potential relationship every single time. You will stop wasting months or years on people who are not as invested as you are. You will stop making excuses for people who are not showing up for you the way you show up for them. Real connection is a beautiful thing, one of the most beautiful experiences we get to have as human beings. And you deserve to find the kind that comes back to you in return. The kind where both people are equally invested and equally excited and equally committed to building something together. You deserve someone who mirrors your energy, who initiates contact, who makes time for you, who remembers what you say, who looks at you the way you look at them. Anything less than that is settling, and you should never settle for one-sided love when mutual love is possible. Before we close, I want to ask you for something. If this message helped you see your relationships more clearly, if it gave you insight into a situation you have been confused about, or if it simply made you feel less alone in your experiences, please take a moment to like this video and share it with someone who might need to hear it. Your support helps us reach more people who are searching for answers about love and connection. And here is one more thing that would mean the world to me. If you found value in what we talked about today, please subscribe to this channel right now. We are working hard to build a community of people who want to understand relationships better, who want to stop playing games and start building real connections. We are on a journey to reach 1,000 subscribers, and every single person who joins us helps spread this message to more people who need it. When you subscribe, you are not just supporting this channel, you are becoming part of a community that values honesty, emotional intelligence, and real human connection. So please, hit that subscribe button and help us reach our goal. Together we can build a space where people learn to recognize real love and stop settling for less than they deserve. Thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next one.